Oh my god, this woman needs to get help, like, fast. But anyways, let's just get this shit over with. What's up, bitches? So Kerr is back, and today she's going to be talking about how she's taking authority over Hurricane Florence. Let's just see how this goes.
I'm going to address Florence first. That is, of course, off of the East Coast. It's still out in the Atlantic, okay? But they're forecasting it'll make a turn to the west and northwest, and it's going to hit somewhere in North Carolina, they're saying. South Carolina, they're still not sure. We're saying it's not going to do that, all right?
Oh, so you're not going to agree with what actual science and what actual meteorologists have to say about the hurricane? Okay, then what do you have to say is the solution to the problem we have here?
We're not going to agree with any of the forecasts they're giving for that storm. The categories it's going to get to, the damage it's going to do, the flooding it's going to do. It's almost like they're calling it. We aren't calling it. We are crushing it.
Oh, so you're crushing it. Okay, let me just take a look at this. Oh, still in the path for the Carolinas, and still a Category 4. Not much for crushing it, huh?
If you remember, I'm sure everyone does, Christ stopped the storm. He actually was trying to teach his disciples how to do that. Why? Because we are calling those things that be not as though they were. This is not something we're making up. This is not a game.
Obviously, this is something that you are making up. Human beings don't have power that can control the wind, the seas, or even the weather. That's not how this works.
We are serious about doing this. So if you're serious about stopping these things from happening, then get on board with the Weather Warriors, because we're not going to stop doing this.
The Weather Warriors? That's what you're calling your group? How's that track record then? You probably can't keep a good track record because the weather not doing what you want it to do.
So right now we're going to speak to Florence. The first thing I always do is hit it in the eye. Why? I like to do that, but it does have an effect in the spirit realm. We're taking spiritual authority over a natural situation, which Christ did all the time. And we are joint heirs. I don't have time to go into that. Look at some of the prior forecasts. And I'm going to let you know right now. So we take authority over Florence. And we say, you will not grow. You will not hit land. You will not do destructive things to America or anywhere.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
You all need to be repeating this, okay? You need to get on board and say it too. Don't just say you agree. You say it. Your words have power. So I will say it again. Slower, so you can say it with me. As a member of the body of Christ.
Again, Kat, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
I have authority over the storms. And right now, I take authority over Florence, over any of the demonic army controlling it, empowering it, and steering it.
The demonic powers controlling it and steering it. Are you kidding me here? Is this woman trolling? I think she might be trolling.
And I say no. You do not have authority over the weather, but we do as joint heirs with Christ.
You have authority over the weather. Okay, sure. When Florence actually hits land and causes a lot of damage, will you make an apology video? No, I'm pretty sure you won't.
He said, what I do, you will do also, and greater works will you do. This is what we're doing. And then we will say, I command the millibars, the pressure, to rise in Florence. You rise, you rise, you rise, and you crush that storm.
Florence is still a Category 4. Your powers don't do shit. Here's a hypothetical question, Kat. Why don't you actually go to the storm? Why don't you actually go to these horrific storms that you say that you have authority over? Why don't you actually go to the actual storm and confront it then on? Methinks you won't because you're full of shit.
It will be diminished and downgraded, downgraded, downgraded. We will not tolerate any violent activity or threatening activity in our country or anywhere we declare it.
And yet, weather disasters happen all the time. You failed.
So we say Florence will come to nothing, and it will be quickly, and it will be seen by everyone who goes online, anyone who watches the weather will be forced to forecast it. They'll be forced to talk about it.
Oh, they'll be forced to talk about it? You said the exact same thing about the fires in California. No one talked about it. Well, except for the voices in your head.
And this is why we do this. Is why God is doing this. So they will visibly see we as believers have authority over the weather.
Again, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Your authority over the weather will do nothing. You will fail at this like you have done in the past when nothing happens. And when nothing does happen, you will act like you didn't make the claim and move on to the next crappy subject of your life. Get some help. I'm Egghead. Thanks for watching. Good lord, Cat Kerr needs to get some help ASAP.